Self-Publishing Podcast, episode number 112, take 2.
This episode of the Self-Publishing Podcast is brought to you by 99 Designs, the online marketplace that helps you get outstanding book cover designs at an affordable price. Start your custom design today at 99designs.com/SPP and enjoy a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99.
Welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast, where if you want something done right, you've got to do it yourself. And now, here are your hosts, 3 guys who are down with OPP, Johnny, Sean, and Dave.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast, the podcast that's all about how to get your words out into the world without contending with agents, publishers, or the other gatekeepers in traditional publishing. I'm Johnny B. Truant, and the 2 men with beards of varying darkness. Sean and Dave. Ironic that Dave is the less dark of you 2 today. Usually Dave is so much darker. And today he's the light one. He's light and airy like an angel.
I stole his shadows.
We had a decoy show today. So if you've looked on YouTube and I haven't deleted it yet, or what I really liked is that I was heads up enough to start it early, like to schedule it and say it's starting at 2 so people could get in there early. So a bunch of people are probably over there watching the wrong video. Google. Sean and I have been meeting approximately 3 times a day on Hangouts, it seems, and for Fiction Unboxed, and usually it's fine, but every once in a while there's a delay, and you just never know. So,
yeah, fortunately the delay, today's delay came after the video. It was terrible. Like we just had to quit. But if it had come just a little bit earlier, it would have been horrible.
Yes.
That's all there is to that story.
All right, that's a good one. How's that beard?
I'm updating so people know where we are.
Okay. How you liking the beard?
The beard's good. It's got 1 week left, and then I'm gonna play a little. I'm gonna do full on handlebar one day just to be creepy. I think that'll. I'm not sure.
Do a Daw Blackburn.
Yeah, I could do a Daw. Well, it's not long enough. I can't wax it or anything.
Well, you'll have to do that. Short. You'll have to grow just the mustache.
I could do that. I could do it like all thick, like you did in the milkshake movie. I'll drink your milkshake.
Oh, I don't.
So good.
I don't know this one.
You didn't see that?
Let There Be Blood, or
There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood.
It's There Will Be Blood.
It's the most depressing
You've never seen There Will Be Blood?
Ever.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's too dark for Dave though.
It is,
which is hilarious.
Did not like it.
Really?
I loved it.
So let me ask you: is there blood? Did they ever get there, or is it like We Will Get to Disneyland and they don't ever get there?
No, there is blood and there's dying children, and it's just very sad.
It has all the stuff Dave loves, though. It's got like damning religion, and it's got children in jeopardy, and
but it was relentless in its bleakness. It was too much for me.
You know what it is? He can dish it out, but he can't take it. He likes to he likes to make other people miserable when somebody tries to make Dave miserable.
It's so true.
Okay, you know what it was? I loved the first half of the movie, and then there's a scene where the guy takes his son and puts him on a train and basically sends him off without the kid even knowing. The kid thinks he's going on a trip with a dad, and I was like, "Oh my God, that is so heartbreaking." That did it for me right there.
But the character is it's showing you how like monstrous he could be, and that's exactly the kind of thing you would write.
You guys should write a book about somebody who's monstrous. What would you call that book?
Daffodils and puppy dogs.
Oh.
They call it Rainbows and Roses.
So today I thought we'd talk about sort of how to be more efficient with your time and how to get more done. This is something that I've had to rethink a lot of this because Fiction Unboxed has been nuts. We're very close to the end of the rough draft on that. We're like just a few more days, and by the way, it's so exciting. Like, I just love the enthusiasm, and I love where the story is going. I'm just more and more in love with the story that we're writing in front of everybody. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of, meetings, and we have to create daily blog posts and post things, and so. And
well,
plus,
today's a good example, right? So normally it's not a big deal. Like if Johnny runs into a story snag, then we just handle it later, or through email, or we'll have a meeting, but it's not urgent. There's no urgency to it. But now it's like, well, if you want me to write tomorrow, we're having a meeting today, and just like that's this project. That's what we do, and we're both so systemized in a lot of things that we do that stuff doesn't normally sneak up on us like that. And this whole month has been stuff sneaking up on us. So it's made us hyper aware of our routines and our habits and the things that we do well, the things that we need to improve on. So it's given us really good line of sight. So going forward, Axis is our next project, and Axis forward, we can again improve the formula and share the formula with you guys.
The formula. Do you want?
There is no formula.
There is no formula. Can you do you guys want to do some voicemails?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So these are ancient. Like, I apologize, guys. It's just we haven't been able to with Fiction Unboxed. There's just been entirely too much going on. And Dave just put something in the chat that makes my heart pitter patter, involving Better Off Undead, which would be fun. And we answered some of these on the Decoy show. The first one isn't really it isn't a question, but I want to play it. It's about, well, I'll just play it. But it followed this where we had an off day. Like, we had a day where we were, well, I'll just play it. Okay.
Hi guys, this is Sage. I found your podcast a few weeks ago through Joanna Penn's site, and I've been working my way through all of the back episodes. And I don't usually do this sort of thing, but I came across Dave's Walking Dave podcast the other day, and he was talking about how...
Dave, how's that podcast going? Strong?
The daily podcast, it's now once a month.
Right.
Awesome.
We'll continue with Sage here.
some jerks are tearing down their fellow writers who managed to achieve a level of success. And it made me want to call and tell you that I think you're all great. I love your podcast, and I think you're all awesome and generous for sharing your experiences with the rest of us. It's really encouraging to see the kind of success that hard work and a dedication to improving your craft can lead to. People who have to tear down others to make themselves feel better, that says more about them than it does about you. Keep your chin up and ignore the haters. There's plenty of people out here who appreciate and value what you're doing. So thanks, and have a great day.
Thanks, Sage. I think that was I didn't hear your Walking Dave, but you were probably not talking primarily about us there. That's sort of a hybrid response.
No, I was specifically talking about some stuff that I was seeing happen to authors that were sharing on the Kindle boards, and how they were just destroyed by people that either didn't agree with them or just were hating on them because they were popular, selling more books, whatever. And just, these people that come out and share stuff, like Darren, he's had some situations, Darren Waremouth, basically authors that are like trying to help other people and share their advice, and they just get, destroyed in the boards because people can just be vicious like that. And it kind of sickened me, and I'd seen a lot of different stuff going on, and I just felt like talking about it. So a lot of people actually emailed me about that. I'm really, it hit a nerve, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you, Sage. Really, like, those voicemails and emails, they mean a lot, because it can be tiring, sharing as much as we do, but it is really rewarding. It's rewarding work, and the number of people who are grateful so outnumbers the group of people who just they complain. It's just that the complainers are loud sometimes, but you guys are amazing. Like, the SBP community is really, really, really just a bunch of cool, hardworking people. And that's what I love about the community most, is that they're all people who are willing to work hard and write and do it, the ass in chair time that's required. You see that all over the forums, in Fiction Unboxed, is people talking about, this is what I'm going to do next, and this is the project that I have to do. They're talking about the work and not the gimmicks, and I love that. So you're very welcome.
One of the things that I was touching on in that post is how I really enjoy like the people that we talk to, how they do talk about ideas. They're not talking about like other writers and just trashing people and stuff.
Right.
And I really like it's like it's a positive creative thing. And I know I'm a cynical ass, and but I'm not cynical when it comes to the things I love, and creativity is one of those things. I really enjoy talking with people about ideas, and I think a lot of authors that get caught up in jealousy, like it's really easy to hate on somebody that you don't think deserves the success they have. And I think we've all felt a little bit like when I was doing comics, there were people that I didn't think drew very well, and they had super popular comics, and it bothered me. I never acted out.
I'm doing really good over here. I'm hitting buttons and music's playing and shit. Sorry, everybody.
I never attacked them or anything, but I felt bad that I felt bad. Like it was destructive to me to not like them or be jealous of them. And I think like when you're it's easy to be self-destructive when you're struggling yourself. And I think a lot of authors that are struggling, they're looking for reasons why. And a lot of times it's easier to look at other people and think that they don't deserve what they have, or they're doing it wrong, or maybe they write shitty books and you just don't like them, but they're super popular. Well, other people do like them. Like a lot of people, love Harry Potter, and other people think it's complete and utter bullshit. But it doesn't make it right or wrong. You only have to deal with what you're writing, and you can only do the best you can do. What other people are doing has zero effect on your art, and the more you hate on it and the more you focus on what other people are doing, the more self-destructive it is to you and your art, and it holds you back. And it held me back with my comics, and I got over it, and I'm glad that I did.
I would add that if you hate on any sort of success, you're training your brain that's bad, and the people will hate you. And so you'll self-sabotage. So what happens a lot is with money is you'll see this just not in writing in general, in specifically, but in general you'll start to see that person has too much. Oh, that guy's an asshole. He's got $1 million, whatever. Like that. Remember when Hugh Howey wrote a check to himself as a parody on the YouTube video because somebody was saying he made too much money. $2 million to me. And you're guaranteeing that you're going to be poor, because why would you ever get money? People hate you when you get money. That's what you're training yourself. So there you go.
Yeah, I've never really been jealous in that way, but back when I was maybe my second year online, and I was still just really, really struggling, but I was starting to ghostwrite. So I was starting to do marketing copy and stuff for people who, they were making like the stupid money for not very much work, and it was hard not to resent that, and it was hard not to let it play with me in a way where like I didn't want to resent it. I just wanted to be like, okay, well that's their business, and I'll do the hard work of building my business. But you would see how little regard they had for what they did and their customers, and that just kind of sucked, because it was so easy for them. They did have an easy button because they have really big lists and that kind of thing. But again, you can't let other people dictate what you do. You just have to stay true to yourself. And
it didn't help you to be resentful of them. It harmed you, right?
No,
it seems to stem from some sort of a thought that you're going to help yourself by hurting them.
Yeah, and that's stupid. Like you just have to keep your eye on the ball. Like you really do. You have to know this is what I want for my creative career, and I'm going to take all the baby steps to do it. And some of those baby steps take a long time, and they're really frustrating, and you have to dig deep. But you owe it to your creative career, because it's through the toil that you get things that are of true value.
All right, I'm going to repeat this voicemail. When I say repeat, it hasn't actually appeared on the show before, but it did appear on the Decoy show.
Wait, before you do, we have two comments. Darren Waremouse says, lovely voicemail. I echo what she says about you guys. You've given shitloads to the community and should be proud. And Carl Sinclair says, have you been drinking? You're never this positive.
He started doing meth today. It's a 30-day weight loss program, you guys.
There you go. Because at the end of 30 days, you just stop and it's all better. I hear that the meth works that way. All right, so like I said, we we did play this before, but it was on the show that was just terrible. Like, I think we had a guest, and the guest didn't show or something, and we didn't know what to do. Oh, no, it was the one where Sean couldn't get on. I don't remember. So we played this before, and Dave, I think, disagreed with it, but let's go ahead and play Garrett's about sending autographed books.
Hey, Johnny, Sean, and Dave, it's Garrett. Going back to my roots and leaving voicemails for the podcast. I came up with an idea for something to do for my list, my email list recently. Not an enticement to get people on the list, but something to make it awesome when you're already there. And that is that once a month, I'm going to order paperback copies of my books or hardcovers for when I start producing those, and basically autograph them in however many copies, 2, 5, whatever. Just one of my emails per month will say, hey, the first 5 people to respond, I'm going to ship you a copy of the book, because, you know, CJ Lyons talked about that on the first episode she was on. What do you guys think about that as like an idea? Is that something you've ever considered doing or would consider doing? Do you see any problems with it? I mean, I'm kind of already doing it, so there you go. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts. Bye.
You want to shit on that, Dave?
Yes! Shit. I love that he asks our opinion after he's already committed to it.
Well, he wants validation. That's all.
Yeah, well, he didn't get it. I think
He's not going to get it again. He's going to get a double shot.
No, actually, I think it's good if you give out 1 or 2 copies to the first people that do it, not the first 5, because nobody is sitting around waiting for an email. And you know, people are at work. They're probably not checking their personal email that comes from Garrett Author, and you know, you're going to penalize those people. They're going to be pissed off, and they're going to be like, well, why the fuck am I on your list? You know, I'm not going to sit and wait to be first to answer your email. So I think you're training. I know you're trying to train people to open your email, but you're also pissing off a lot of people. So I suggested in the other, you know, response, give away 1 or 2, and then 3 randoms or however many else. How many are left? Just give those away randomly to people.
We actually had, see, in the meantime, like since the first time we played this and the second, we had a catastrophe involving this. So that's what Sean's going to go into.
Well, I actually, I don't wholeheartedly disagree with Dave, but I hear what he's saying. I think that it's perfectly fine to say the first 3 people to answer this email get it. You could also say, I'm going to pick 3 at random. I wouldn't do it the same every month. I think that's a waste. I think you should be surprising. This time it's the first person to accurately answer this question, or I don't think
the first person that sends me a picture of their penis.
I think that I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with saying the first people to do this, because you know there people like that kind of game. I mean, look at the Fiction on Box posts. Every single one, every new forum thing, every new post, first. People love that stuff. And
but if they're missing out on something by not being first, they're not. And you know, if I'm at work and I missed Garrett's email and I like get home at 5 o'clock or whatever, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'd be pissed off.
Well, that's legitimate, which is why you wouldn't want to do it every single time. But doing it as part of a,
don't do it
you
at
know,
all.
I wouldn't have a problem with doing it every time that way. Personally, I'll be the heretic.
I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I don't think it's the smartest thing. I think somewhere in the middle, like you just
I'm gonna piss off 90% of my list. What a great idea!
Because I think
but it's something you're giving free. It's not.
It doesn't matter. No. You don't understand people. When we gave away,
wait, hold on. I'd like to pause. Dave's gonna explain people to us.
When we gave away a Kindle Fire, we got shit from people out of the country that were like, well, you got to give something away to everybody. I'm like, people don't understand. They only
James Bond! Oh! What's up, James Bond?
You do something nice, and it will come back to stab you in the back, okay?
To never do anything nice, people.
Never do, no. but no, do something inclusive of everybody if you're able to. And this is something where you're able to, because it's not restrictive to anything. You know, there's times where, like, you can only do something, like, within the confines, like, give out a free book, but say you're on Amazon, you can't do it because you don't have free, you know. So there's things that you can do where you are limited by outside things. But this is something he's putting the limitations on himself. Why? Why do it? Why piss people off?
Well, okay, so
Because
the catastrophe I was alluding to, we never actually got to, which was we had promo with this catastrophe is maybe a little bit of a strong word. We had promo codes for 3 audiobooks, and so we did that. Hey, let us know, and Sean got 500,000 emails at the
Dude,
worst possible
we're still getting emails on that. We're still getting emails on not a lot, but I got one yesterday. It's still available.
How would you do it? Would you say is it like I've never used Rafflecopter? People talk about it. Like, can you say go enter your email address here and we'll on this set day?
Yeah, there are ways to do it. For that, I think you just need to be specific. At the very least, you want to say, within 24 hours of this email, or on Tuesday this date, whatever it is, because then there's a wall there. You definitely want a wall. But I think really nurturing a list, it should be surprising. You want to be consistent as far as what they can expect overall. But within that, it's like any relationship. You want to still surprise your wife, right?
Dave does that.
Or is that not part of winning the marriage?
Hey, honey, I brought a mistress home. Surprise!
I mean,
Stop
good
chasing
surprise.
me with that chainsaw. All right, so do you
I
want to
think
move
that.
in? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Misty
we'll
Morgan says, I agree with Dave. I always miss these kinds of offers because my email doesn't go straight to my phone, and I only get online at night. Most of these emails go to a specific folder in my email now that I rarely get into. So there, I'm right. You guys are wrong.
So never, ever, ever do it the other way.
No, just don't do it all. Just give away 2 to the first people and 3 to other people at random. Why do it all just the first people? That's stupid.
Then why do any to the first people?
Because you're nurturing those 5 people, and sometimes that's okay. You're nurturing the people who are looking for your email first. And that's okay too, because some people are. And those are your truest fans.
No, those are people that happen to be at home. People that are at work can be your true fans, but they can't check their email.
Never going to get through this.
No, that's not true. There are some, and we see it on the Fiction Unboxed emails. There are people who open them the second they get them because they're waiting for it. And if
I'm a cop,
right.
I'm chasing some bad guy or saving someone from a car crash. Oh shit! I got an email from Garrett. Hold on, I'm gonna respond so I can get a free book. Fuck you.
Yeah, but when that cop does that, you just made a sale. Like that dude's a fan for life. So I think we should.
You're fucking wrong.
No, it would be wrong if we said this is the only
thing criminal to respond to your email. That was a joke. Just so.
All right. It would be wrong if this was the only way to do it. To do this as part of so you're varying your routine. Sometimes you're rewarding the people who do check their email all the time. Sometimes you're rewarding the people who don't. That's the most sensible, grounded, reasonable way to handle regular promotion.
All right, let's
how do you reward the people who are on their back throwing up in their own mouth because they're I don't know. Like we got to reward all those guys. All right. So here's the last voicemail we currently have. I'm not getting my voicemails weekly. It's kind of annoying, but they're so I don't have any new ones processed. But this is the current one we have that's from Eric.
Maybe our new admin can do that.
This is Eric Marshall calling. That's E-R-I-K Marshall for the nice transcriptionist that caption access. I have a question for you guys about pseudonyms. I know that Johnny, you use a pseudonym, and Sean and Dave, you don't, unless Dave is just a decoy identity. Not sure, but I was wondering. I understand why you would use one and why you might not, but I was wondering if you've ever had any drawbacks. If there are any drawbacks. So, for example, Johnny, have you ever had any problems with using a pseudonym and only a pseudonym for your kind of public persona? And Sean and Dave, have you guys had any problems using your real names? I'm looking for not necessarily the positives, but the drawbacks to that. So thanks a lot, guys.
I haven't had any problems at all. I haven't had any problems from receiving payment for the stuff I used to do through a PayPal account to, I mean, I have financially, like my bank account, Johnny B. Truin LLC. No problems with any of that. And as far as public persona, Sean will tell you this because I've hung out with him a few times in person. Is I actually prefer. I want to be called Johnny. Like that's who I am when I'm in this world. It's a more accurate identity for me. Nobody calls me by my real name except for Wilbur. Yeah, except for my
Really
mother.
Wilbur.
It's
Yes,
Leslie.
Wilbur.
It's Leslie.
And yes, and even my
it's
like
Leslie Tinkle.
oh, for fuck's sake, are you kidding me? Stop. The people who would call me by my first name, my real name would be talking right to me, whereas Johnny gets email, Johnny gets voicemail, Johnny is referred to publicly. Like that doesn't happen, and so I haven't had any trouble at all. I can't think of anything that I've had a problem with. You guys go now.
I would say I wish I had come up with a decoy name because then I wouldn't worry about stalkers and shit as much. I have had weird ass stalkers when I did comics, and that was very disturbing. So yeah.
Well, I have been using the pseudonym Sean Platt for a while. My real name, Max Power, is
Max Power.
Yeah, no, no, it's Homer's name. You never saw that?
He got it off a hairdryer.
No.
So awesome. Yeah, no, I've never had any bad. I used not a pseudonym really, but I was just anonymous when I first went online. When I used the Writer Dad. I had the Writer Dad domain, that's the name I used, Writer Dad, and I wasn't Sean, and I didn't have my Twitter handle wasn't Sean, it was Writer Dad, and I just was anonymous for a while. But that was stupid. Like, what's the point? And
if only
I found
you
a lot
used a Simpsons-based pseudonym.
Well, we do have the Guy Incognito, which is for children, and that's intentional, because. We write grown-up stuff, and I don't want a child reading, something that they feel is safe, and then accidentally reading something that they shouldn't be reading. So I feel like it's important to separate that. But other than that, I want stuff under my own name, regardless of genre, and that's a whole nother conversation, the whole genre hopping thing. But I just want to be known as a storyteller. So in that context, pseudonyms don't really benefit me.
We got some breaking comments. Carl Sinclair says, I'm under obligation to agree with Dave as his mistress. You guys are totes wrong. Missy Morgan says, hey, I am a true fan. I just have 3 fucking kids, and I'm in a different time zone. Fuck you, Sean. Dave is now my favorite.
No, and I love that Sean didn't even say it. It was me who made that comment.
David Anson says,
mine was a joke, though.
Then give 3 to the first responders and 2 to the other at random. Covers both. I agree. Hedonist 6 says, wonderful. I wasn't expecting a rant that energetic until BOU. Well done.
Can I just say,
okay, here's the same thing.
For God's sake, we're not going to go back to that.
Yes, if they're saying give 2 to the first people and 3 later, how is that different from giving 5 to the first people one time and 5 to people later next time? It's dividing it up, so it's not all the same.
It is different because it's in the same email.
Where's the sound effect?
Are you only emailing once a year? What the hell? Why do you care how it's divided if it's divided? Oh my God!
You're not a consumer. That's why you're not a consumer.
I'm more of a consumer than you. I love to buy shit. What are you talking about?
You're not a typical consumer.
Oh my God!
You're not.
Dude, do you know how you have to understand buying habits to write copy? Like, do you understand that?
I'm just going to play sound effects until you guys shut the fuck up about this. All right, so let's...
Never play another Garrett voicemail ever.
Jesus Christ.
Or always play them every week.
I think what we've learned from this is that we shouldn't have Garrett on the show as a voicemail leaver. So, although I will say that Garrett's mention of hardbacks just makes me salivate for seeing work in hardback. I can't wait until I can hold up a hardback or something.
Well, we've got one coming up, right? I mean, Blunderbuss will be in, or now officially the Dream Engine.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that, and because I don't think we've decided how we're doing them. I don't think we've decided whether we're doing them through what's the thing. What the hell is that? Why can't I remember this? The hardback people.
No, that company, the one in Denver that we met.
The one that we talked
that
about
you mean?
before. Why can't I remember that?
Lightning source?
Yes, lightning source. Are we? Is that
Lightning
that's probably
source?
how we're doing it. Yes.
Oh,
good,
yeah,
the delay is
probably lightning
Okay.
source. Yeah.
back. Okay, good. Well, this will be fun because Dave's muted and we have the delay.
I'm here.
Okay, good. So you and I can talk because I think Sean's got his delay going on again. Yeah. So speaking of if we're going to move into the topic, because that's what we do after half an hour is moving to the topic. Outsourcing. I might outsource various parts of a book.
What
Oh
parts
wait,
would
hold
those
on. That's
be?
not how. No. I'm sorry. I was supposed to say something entirely different, and I got distracted. Was that I saw something strange on Amazon the other day, Dave?
What did Space Shuttle sell a copy?
No, I noticed that it's getting harder to tell the crappy books from the good ones, Dave. Even bad books are getting better with their covers, Dave.
It's so natural.
Well, I'm talking about outsourcing coming up here. This is don't shit all over me.
Yeah, it is. Even bad books are, looking better, which means that it's even harder for good books to stand out. It used to be that you could have a halfway decent cover and you were still leaps and bounds over the bad books. Well, that day's over, which means that a good cover is now more important than ever, and that's where our friends.
Wait. Where would you get a good cover, Dave? You would probably go to
the flea market,
eBay.
eBay. You could if you want a
Fiverr
bad cover, but if you want a good cover, you would go to our friends at 99designs.com. 99 Designs is an online marketplace where thousands of graphic designers are ready to tackle any creative product. From logos to book cover designs, you get a totally custom bestseller-worthy cover design for just $299.
Have you ever used them personally?
Yes, Sean and I have used them on a few projects. In
What book? What?
Threshold, Syllable Soup, and what was the other? Oh,
What
Dark
kind of bowl
Crossing.
is on the cover of Syllable Soup? I'll bet Sean knows.
Can I say?
No, don't get him involved! He's not allowed to talk!
I'll bet it was a nice Williams Sonoma bowl, and there was a Gerber Daisy floating in it. Could you request that from 99 Designs? Could you make that your write-up or whatever and say, I want a cover with a Williams Sonoma bowl and I want a Gerber Daisy in it?
You probably could, and that is the awesome thing about 99 Designs is that you tell them what you want. You tell designers what you want, and then a bunch of designers compete to come up with the cover that best represents your idea.
Okay, I got a pitch here that I'm going to read. Okay,
Okay.
my book is about children in jeopardy, and I'm going to need definitely something on the cover that represents a dungeon and blood and a Gerber Daisy.
They can do it. If anybody can do it, they can do it.
One-trick pony. That's the only flower I can think of right now. Roses.
Yes, they'll do it, and you'll have designers competing, and then you'll have a bunch of designs to choose from, and then you can go to the next round and actually work with the designers to make it personally, the exact cover that you have in your head, and they will get it to you.
Can you request like a battle royale during one of those phases where they have to do like an
Fight to the
American
death?
Gladiator sort of thing with the big giant Q-tips?
I don't think that they'll do that.
What if that was the theme for your cover?
Well, yeah, they could do anything on a cover, and I highly recommend 99 Designs. And the best part is that 99 Designs offers a 100% money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose.
Oh, well, good. I was thinking you might have something to lose, but that's good to know that I don't. All right, well, so start your custom design today at 99designs.com/SPP and enjoy a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99. A Power Pack gives you more design time and attention, so you'll get nearly twice as many designs to help choose from. 99designs.com/SPP.
Eventually, we're going to get good at these ad reads.
No, we're not.
No,
Why would
we're
we get
not.
good at 'em? Why would we get good at them? You're acting like that's the goal.
And why is that your ambition, of all things? No, we got other things to work
I
on.
just got a text here from Robert Bruce.
What Robert Bruce said.
He says, Dave, you're a shill and a total fucking sellout. And man, you call that a beard? Robert's got a really impressive beard.
I've already explained it's not selling out if you use and believe in the product. So fuck
He was
you.
referring to your beard. It'll be fun when we have Robert on. We can berate you in person. That'll be great. I might have been drinking that day. So, anyway,
We have a topic to get to.
we do have a topic to get to.
You know,
but
the beautiful thing about wasting a half hour is that people that just want the actual topic, they know right where to go. Just go half into the show, and
you know what it is? It's like Howard Stern with the news. You know, like it's not really news. That's just where they.
But they save that for the end. They waste your time at the end.
No, well, we like to get it out of the way right up front.
I like the news.
Well, I would argue that we should have Gilbert Gottfried sit in on our banter. You know what I like? Well, but okay. Well, whatever.
Too long.
So the point is efficiency. And when I proposed this, Dave must be softening because I thought Dave was going to be not enjoy the idea of a show on efficiency. I thought you were going to say that you hate that idea or something. So are you getting more efficient? Are you finding new ways to streamline?
Yeah, I am in a constant attempt to get everything in order.
Do you realize that a constant attempt to get everything in order is the opposite of efficiency if it never stops?
I think you always tinker. You always work to perfect.
I'm too busy trying to get everything in order.
Well, I'm not quite
so
the
how's
masters
the tinkering
of your
going?
sonar. What's that?
I said, how's the tinkering going?
It's going. We can talk about that on Better Off Undead.
Yeah. But
Awesome.
what are your habits?
Yeah, I think.
I do seriously want to ask Dave this question though, because you don't always enjoy systems and schedules, and you still get a bunch of stuff done. So I'm curious as to whether you're evolving any of this before Sean and I monopolize it.
I am trying to find the best schedule for me and work with my natural flows and not work against it. I don't know. You guys talk, and I'll jump in if I have anything to say.
All right. Well,
I'm really not the master at this.
That was David Wright, everybody. Got another texter from Robert Bruce.
I'll see y'all later.
One of the reasons I thought of this is because I recently decided to tweak my schedule. And it, like I said, it kind of came out of Unboxed, although the way I was looking at it was I'll make this adjustment after Unboxed is over. And what I decided is, fuck it, let's just try it. So what I'm trying right now is I used to wake up at 5:45, and I would write for 3-ish hours, and I sort of had, I would see how many words I could get during that time. Sometimes I would be able to get closer to 6, and I make 6,000, and might go beyond that, or I might just try for the words. Like I didn't have a lot of consistency, but I knew about what word count I could be counted on per week, and I hit it. I hit the deadlines. But the problem with waking up at 5:45, which I really like, is that no matter what I do, I cannot go to bed in time to make a 5:45 wake up, not just a total bastardization of a healthy sleep schedule. So I was getting pretty consistently 6 hours and or less, and that's just not good. So what I decided to toy with was waking up at 7. My wife wakes up at 7. So I figured I'd just wake up with her. Like that would be kind of nice, like actually waking up with my wife. Like we'll try it. Gets me an extra hour in the morning because I know I'm not going to go to bed earlier. I don't want to do that. But I figured if I was really super efficient with my time and set a clock and set up systems which I can go into to make sure I use the best of that time, then I could make sure that what I was sacrificing rather than productive time was all the time I'd been wasting, all the time I'd been screwing around, checking on sales when I shouldn't have, and that sort of bullshit, checking social media. I always fall off the wagon with stuff like that and with email. And it's been different for Unboxed because Unboxed has a lot of extra stuff. But the way I'm looking at this is I'm going to try and do 3.5 hours of solid writing, like 2 o'clock, like not 2 o'clock, but using a clock that's set for 4 hours and counts down. I never stop the clock. If I go to the bathroom, the clock's running, that sort of thing. And then spend the last half hour doing some sort of marketing or promotion stuff because we're going to be producing new stuff for our sterlingandstone.net site coming up soon. And
wait, hold on. Let me talk about that for a second because that's I think that's interesting. So what Johnny's talking about right now is that we're baking in marketing into the production, which we've never really done before. We've kind of talked about it, but Fiction Unboxed has forced us to do it, and we're like, oh yeah, more of that, right? So we're just doing that going forward. And what I mean by that is, I think you were already talking about this earlier, about how you're doing the blog post for Fiction Unboxed, right? Did we already talk about that?
Yeah, so guys, even if you're not in Fiction Unboxed, go to fictionunboxed.com/free where you can see the blog posts, and you can see them. Like the people who are in Unboxed see the actual content, and you see a different version depending on whether you're logged in, basically. But you can see my write-ups, so you can see the sorts of things that I'm doing, where I'm saying, you know, here's a scene that I wrote today, and this interesting thing happened, and wow, that surprised me, and here's how I dealt with it in the narrative and that sort of thing. You can see what I'm talking about.
So we're going to be doing that kind of thing going forward, and it just means that if Johnny takes the time to download kind of what he wrote that day in just, yeah, I mean, not even a lot, just a few minutes to kind of gather the ideas, they're way easier than, you know, later when we get to. So if he starts doing this now for Axis, our next project, and each day when he's done writing, he's just kind of gathering his thoughts, then 2 months later, when it's time to market that book, we're going to have a lot of content. We're going to have a lot of those DVD extras that we keep talking about because they were baked into the actual production of the book. And that just gives you stuff that's closer to the heartbeat, and it makes sense. When you watch those DVD extras, those were made during the making of the film, right? Like, have you guys seen Peter Jackson's blog diaries, the video diaries that he did for The Hobbit at all? Or not The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings? Well, it's just it's connecting with fans on a very intimate level during the production, and that stuff is still warm. So when you look at DVD extras, it's rare that they got everybody back together and interviewed them, right? It was all that stuff was part of the production, and they're just packaging them later. So we're doing some of the same things and baking it into that. But I think it's really smart to organize it. That's efficient to do it that way.
Well, actually the way that this all came about, the reason that I started meditating on some of this was that Sean and I were texting back and forth about upcoming word count, and we've set our queue for the rest of the year, and I had said that I could be counted on sort of on an average to produce 25,000 words a week, maybe more, but I wanted to be on the safe side. And we knew how many words we could produce in that amount of time, and we said, okay, so we want to write this, and we want to write this. Like, we know we're going to do a sequel to The Dream Engine. We know we're going to do Axis. We're going to do, I don't remember, like, I don't know if we're doing Robot Proletariat. There's a bunch of things we're going to do.
No, Robot got dropped, but yeah, but there's stuff. It's a full queue.
And we've said a few times that at least at Realm and Sands, what we're going to do next and what we're going to do with the rest of a year or something is dictated largely by the stories we want to tell, not necessarily, I mean, although we do want to make money, we don't think of that first. We think of what stories do we want to tell. And so it's kind of painful to be like, well, we can't get that. Yes, we can get that. And, oh, I want to do that, but we don't have time. And so when I get this text back from Sean that says, what do you think about 20% of our word count going forward being marketing stuff, like promotion? I was like, oh, man, fuck you. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, he cried.
20%? Like, I don't want to cut more. I already am disappointed by the things we aren't going to get to. And so what I realized is if I'm efficient about the time, if I set that time, and if we can, I was going to be able to hit the queue and additionally an extra, 15% or whatever of word count, as long as I organized it into that block that I have learned works best for me. Early morning, no getting up, no fucking around. I mean, I used to stop my timer if I got up and got a cup of coffee, but then that invites me to come back and check to see if I got any new texts because I turned my phone over. So
I do the exact same thing. If I stop my timer and I come back, I'm like, well, I could check email because I haven't started the timer yet. And it's such bullshit because 42 minutes later, you don't have that time. And it's so bad.
So here, what I wanted to do was I wanted to do a few things. Number one, I wanted to have a healthier sleep schedule because it was kind of stressing me out. But also, my theory is that if I'm better rested, I will perform better. Like I will do better. I will be less in need of distraction if I'm healthier, and not that I'm unhealthy, but like what better rested. But I wanted to use, that's an hour and a half quarter difference. I wanted that to be garbage time, which we all have garbage time. We all have time where, like Sean's saying, you check your email. And so I had fallen off the email wagon. I've mentioned a few times. I try to do it once a day, but I'd fallen off that wagon again. And of course, when you check email, you can check Twitter, you can check Facebook, you can refresh your book sales. You can you can check to see if there's any new comments on a blog. You can turn your phone over, because I'll make a joke like, okay, as long as I can see the back of the phone, I won't see the screen light up. But not if I turn it back over. And so here's my list of how serious I am about using this time effectively. Is I wake up at 7, but I actually start programming my my coffee machine to brew at 6:55. So I set it up the night before. I used to just do it in the morning and let it go, but then that's 15 minutes or so, 10 minutes that I can screw around. And I open Scrivener to the file I'm using, and I do the full screen mode. I queue up my music ahead of time, so that all I can do is press play. I don't need to go into iTunes. I put the headphones on, which are sitting right out, and the screen's blacked out, and I press play and I start writing, and I've grabbed my cup of coffee on the way in. Like, there's no screwing around in the front room. I clean my glasses ahead of time, so I will read when I write. I clean those. I set the little timer thing ahead of time, and I know that this seems really, really anal, but it's like if I set restrictions for myself like this, I'm making it clear to myself that there is no fucking around. That timer doesn't stop going, and when I'm done with that 4-hour block, I'm done with my most serious work for the day, and it's been working great.
Okay, I just have to say that the whole pre-planning thing is something that I just started doing before this week. Like the past week, my wife's been out of town, so I've been trying to get a bunch of shit taken care of around the house and get my systems in place, so when she comes back, I can make time for writing, make time for family, and just have everything like more integrated better. But before this week, like whenever I would come to my desk, whenever I woke up around the crack of noon or whatever, the first thing I had to do was clear like 25 diet soda cans from my desk. Go find a garbage bag, throw all the soda cans that accumulated the day and night before. So when you were talking about your perfect desk, I was laughing.
Does your that way by? Sorry, go ahead, Sean. I talked enough.
Well, no, it doesn't matter. I was just going to ask if your office reorganization, is that on the daily schedule or is that a weekly schedule?
That's also my attempt to get everything organized and streamlined the way I use it. So.
But you're like somebody with a messy house who likes to shop at the Container Store. Like right? Because you're spending so much time organizing your office and making it just so, but like your garage is still piled with shit, right? Is your garage still piled with shit?
No. It's I got a good chunk of it. It's not completely done, but I got rid of a lot of stuff. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. That's good. All right. Well.
But yeah, you're right. You're right. I do waste time on shit. So.
Dude, I do the same thing. I do the same thing. I think we all, because when we organize or when we plan, it makes us feel like we're closer to our achievements. And a lot of times we're lying to ourselves.
You get a victory right away that way.
Yeah, it's like writing something, and I know all three of us have done this. We write something down so that we can cross it off.
Yep.
Raise your hand if you've done that. Right.
I write something. I write something before I go to bed, like every single night. The stuff I'm going to do the next day, and like half the time I don't do half the shit because I have like this ambition, like scale Mount Everest and just crazy shit that not realistic at all.
Right, but that's a thing. You need to do munchable chunks, and I do think that lying to yourself is okay if you're telling yourself the right lies. So like in Johnny's example, it's knowing who you are and building fences around your worst behavior. Right, because it's too easy to give permission, and I think there's a couple of things that always help me. One is by prioritizing, and so one thing that I started to do that I really like, and it's Fiction Unboxed has forced me to keep this habit, and that's each night before I go to bed, just like you're saying, I make a list of the things that I absolutely need to do, but I keep that list 6 things. and they're the 6 things I have to do no matter what. So that's just like forced prioritization. And so there have been times in the last few weeks when there are things that I should be getting done, but I'm not. But it's okay, because the things that must be done are getting done. And that's the problem, when sometimes we listen to our own instincts and they're wrong, and we think things are priority that aren't really a priority. And by forcing yourself to look at the 6 things, or whatever your number is, it could be 3, it could be 5, it could be 1,
200.
but say that no matter what, this thing has to get done, or I can't move my creative, business, professional, whatever life forward, then I think it's time to detail those things is really, really good. So I've done that, and that's really helped me get through Fiction Unboxed without losing my mind. And the other thing, and this is a shout out to Steve Scott, actually. I saw his book about habit stacking, and I got it, and it's simple, but I love the philosophy on it, which is just really, really simple, that you add one little tiny habit on top of another.
I just got that book this week.
Did you? Oh, it's simple. You'll like it. It's basically, it doesn't say anything you don't already know, but it reinforces it, and that's a good thing. But basically, you can't do 90. Everybody wants to say, I'm gonna eat healthier, and I'm gonna live longer, and I'm gonna be nicer to my spouse, and more present with my children, and read more books, and we all have these goals that we all want to do these things, and by doing that, we're not doing anything. It's like saying, I want to lose 100 pounds. You can't lose 100 pounds. You have to lose 5 pounds and then 10 pounds. You have to eat better. You have to exercise. Those are smaller goals. Articulate the larger goal. And so for me, that's what I've been doing pretty steadily is articulating the smaller goals that will lead to my larger goals, and making sure that I have 6 of those to focus on each night, that, so I could think about it during the, while I'm winding down and be ready for it the next day, and just adding one new victory each week. So they start out small, but as long as I'm consistent with that, I can add something else the next week. I can't just add 10 new great habits all of a sudden, because I'm going to fail at 9 of them, if not all of them.
And you should also be willing to revise and improve a habit, which is similar to what you're talking about. So if I wanted to if I felt like I was wasting too much time and all I did was check, and I check email constantly, if I check it 6 times a day and they're at certain times, that's an improvement probably. And then you can go to 5, and then you can go to 4. And then you can be more efficient about how you answer emails and that sort of thing. For me, one of the things that I know about myself, and I don't know how widely this is true, is that I'm very binary in my permissions. So I either have permission or I don't. And this applies to everything. It applies to writing applicably here, but like food too. So like if I go out, I normally eat pretty healthy, but if I go out to a dinner on Friday or Saturday night, I just eat whatever I want. But then I've given myself permission to eat shit, and what happens is, unless I make a conscious decision later, like I'm gonna go home and I can make a decision while I'm out. I'm done with this for the day, and as long as I make the decision, it's in my head, but I need to make the decision, and I think that that's what all of this stuff is about. The reason it seems so anal is because it's reinforcing the idea that I don't have permission. And yes, I'm the one making that rule, but I know that I obey my own dictates when they're solid like that. If I'm given permission to check texts, though, well, fuck it. Then I do have permission, and that binary switch is flipped.
Yeah, one thing I've done with text lately, because text can be a very, very big distractor. It's not even email. It's that it's so much wasted motion. You're picking it up, you're digesting, you're answering, you're correcting your answer because it never gets it right the first time. And then you're sending, point. And then you're waiting. Exclamation point. And then you're waiting
Apple,
for a response.
Dictation department, I will never, ever, ever use the phrase excavation point. Knock it the fuck off.
So then you're not like, if I answer a text, then I set the phone back down. I'm not immediately back in work. I've already been yanked out of whatever I'm doing, and now I'm waiting for a response because I want to close the loop before I go back in. Yeah. No. So one of the things that I've been doing is if it buzzes, I just let it buzz. Like it used to be, this is the kind of small incremental change that really, really makes a difference. When you're when you're looking to not just nudge what you're doing, but transform what you're doing with like kind of big leaps, you have to not focus on like the big shifts as much as the tiny little ones, because add those up and they really, really do make a big difference. So I've always had my phone like right here in front of me, and I can see it, so if it buzzes, it's there, and that's where it usually is. But I've moved it, and now it's right here, just kind of behind me. I can hear it when it buzzes, but I don't see it, and I just promised myself I don't turn. I don't turn until that session of work is over. So if it's 15 minutes to go, I just let it count down, and then the first thing I do, then I check it. So it's not like...
Can you change it so you get like a special like sound or a different kind of buzz, like if it was, say, your wife or daughter that was texting you?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Ringtones.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that.
So it's just by putting it a little bit out of mind, it helps me to be better, because I we're all Pavlov dogs, right? Like, I mean, when my text goes off, it's usually somebody I like, right? If they're texting me, that's more intimate. Right. If you're texting me, that's more intimate than email. That means we've traded phone numbers, right? So the chances are good that it's someone that I care about, and that it's more immediate than an email. But I can't let it derail me, because it's just too easy to all of a sudden lose 40 minutes to stupid text exchanges. It's really, really easy. And it's not all 40 minutes at once, but if you spend a total of 10 minutes texting, there's maybe 40 minutes past while you're waiting for responses, and you're not doing your work. You're just not.
Yes, and
So-
I'm big on habits, and one of the things that I've tried as best I can to consciously do away with is it really, really bugs me, like deep inside, when I know I'm being controlled. And I know that we're controlled in many different ways, but one of the things is our culture, like the best way to make money is to hook people. These guys actually recommended a book called Hooked, about how to make your products addictive, and I like wanted to throw it across the room. It's like, no, I'm not reading that fucking book. My wife plays Candy Crush, and I hate that fucking game. I hate that game because it conditions you. Like she won't admit it. She's addicted to it. Like, she's not buying the extra moves. She hasn't spent any money, but every second, I gotta do the Candy Crush, and they give you a certain number of moves each day, and you gotta make sure you get them in. Like, that's all conditioned response. And so when I realize that I'm responding as a trigger, it is evil, and I hate it. But she's a big girl, and I'm only allowed to rant so much, and I have to shut up. But it's that way with text. And when I notice that I'm responding like this to something, if you have the little email dinger on your phone, like if your phone lets you know of new emails, please stop. Please, for all that is humanity, like, knock it off for the rest of us, for the rest of our benefit.
You know what I actually did, and I'm really proud of myself to do this. And I heard that Joanna Penn, Rocking Self-Publishing podcast that you wanted me to listen to, she said she did the same thing on here, and I wanted to give her a high five. I was like, oh, awesome. I took email off my phone completely. Like, I can't get email on my phone right now, and I like that.
Robin's addicted to that too. Every 2 seconds, looking through email.
Yeah, no, I don't. So when I leave the house, I can still get text, but I don't get email, and that's good, because I was checking my email every time I left. I'm checking my email. Oh, like I have so much email waiting at home. I'm gonna knock a few out now, and that's so bad. Like, it's bad. Like, email time should be email time, and when you're out of the house, like, it was just bad. It was addictive, like childish, stupid, infantile behavior, and I had to cut it from my life. And so
It's
it's
actually a physiological response. You get a
it
reward.
is. Yeah, it totally is, and I wanted to be better than that. So I don't have email on my phone anymore, and it's been like maybe 3 weeks or something. And I'm really, really, really happy with that change. But again, that's it, you guys. It's the small changes. It's the things that they just add up. And I think we tend to want these big monumental shifts in our life, and so we just go to the best possible scenario, and we don't think about all the the miles that we have to walk before we're there.
Well,
and it's those miles that matter.
I didn't give you the PS on my 4-hour work block story, and that's that despite losing an hour and a quarter every single morning, I am getting much more done, and I have this huge section. Like, I'm like, I don't need to do anything right now? Are you kidding me? What happens if I could give somebody one productivity tip? I've talked about this before. It's similar to you're taking email off your phone. I have it on my phone, but I don't use it. Like it's almost like an emergency if I'm really, really waiting for an email and I need to know. Is I check email once a day when I'm on the wagon. And currently I am. I try to be on it as much as possible. And oh my God, guys, that one little change will make your day quiet. It's astonishing. It's like nobody's... I have to give someone permission to tap me on the shoulder now. Like I have to go look at my email. And the way it used to feel was, well, I got something from this person. I got something from this person. And now everybody bothers me all at once. Not bothers me. That's overstating it. But you know what I mean? Like contacts me. And
no,
the other thing
it's
is,
exactly the same. I agree. Email is the most destructive force in my day usually. But I have this real love-hate relationship with it because I also love email. Like I love hearing from people. It changes
the way I look
love
at email.
answering. I love feeling needed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because it's something to do. And it's something to get through. And my problem with it has been I have been on the wagon. I've been on the wagon for 2 full weeks now, which is a long time for me actually with email. But I have been. I've been good. I've been answering them. At the end of the day. But the problem is that they pile up, and then I'm not getting any joy out of the email. And I don't mind doing it all at once, but I do want to feel some of the joy. Like I don't want all the joy to be gone from email. Like I want it to be a positive environment. So I have to find the happy
I'm
medium.
wondering if Dave's
and
email
I think that
gets
once
joy.
Unboxed slows down or is over.
What about my email?
I was just
I
wondering
don't know
if
if
your
anything.
email. I would just wonder when
children in
John
general.
was saying he wants to go get the joy and feel the joy. I was just wondering if you open your email and if you feel joy.
Yeah, Sean seems to be on a delay. Kristen Stevens left a comment that says, wait, so you guys say that those who dance and answer emails first are your truest of true fans, but we should also remove email from our phone and not check our emails unless it's email time. I'm so confused. Thank you!
No.
But
Well,
you know
let me
what?
clarify then.
And
What
I
I'm
would also
saying
say that Sean, you got to drop out and come back.
We
in. You
got
the delay going on there again. For me, like, okay, I'll go ahead and play both sides of that. Like, if I'm on somebody's email list and they email me and I miss it because I'm waiting for my email, like that's a trade I'm willing to make. Like, that email is all about cookies. Like, email is all about you're going to get a little treat. If you check your email right now, you're going to get out of some pain of some work that you're doing. You're going to get a little addictive hit because you're feeding your behavior. And what if I get a new free audiobook codes? Like, I'm glad that people respond, but I guess I'd be willing to just sacrifice that in the name of taking control of my day and not being controlled by it.
Ryan Attard asks, what about when your family are a distraction? When is it okay to start murdering people? Well, I think I speak for everyone here when I say it's never okay to murder your family.
Wait,
Murder
what?
other people.
Never?
Yeah.
I don't think you should respond to email right off. I think it's just the idea is you can do things differently and don't be afraid of doing things any one way.
As far as family, one of the things that this doesn't, I've got my family pretty well trained, and I think that's the solution is not training them, but like letting
They're all in
them know.
crates.
Right, they're all in crates.
Wow, Dave is how to win your marriage. Johnny's how to train your family.
How to
train your
control and dominate your family.
Number one, my most productive work block is that 4-hour period currently, and that because I'm so efficient on it, I'm done at 11:15 with that. Now, my family seldom needs something before 11:15, and if they do, they need it in advance, like we're going somewhere or something like that. And what happened the other day was I took a second block to do some external writing, whatever, and it was going really well. And I was in flow. Man, I was going. And my daughter opens the door and she says, Dad, the water's coming out of the bottom of the dishwasher. And I'm like, well, is Mom out there? Yeah. Go tell her. And so she said, well, she told me to come get you. And so I'm like, oh, God damn it. So in the middle of this like great flow block, like I'm obeying the timer, I got everything, I got to go deal with the dishwasher. Like, that fucking sucks. But that doesn't usually happen. Like 99 times out of 100, everybody can leave me alone for 4 hours. It's the morning. Like, You know, I think you can do that. I think you can say, this is the time I need. I'll give you other time.
Sean mentioned that habit stacking book. The author's name is S.J. Scott. I got a comment here from Helen Martin that asked what it was. I had also got another book by him, which sounds kind of similar to what you do, Johnny, and it's called Wake Up Successful. And I hate books like that have this sort of title. I'm not a big self-help guy, yet I do read things that I think I will find some use for. So I got it just to see if I would like it. And he talks about conquering the thing that will get you the most furthest in whatever you want to change the most. Like, so it could either be for me losing weight or creative, like writing the book or whatever, and do that first thing in the morning. And that's what I'm going to do starting next week, is because a lot of times, like, my writing comes way late in the night because that's when I feel creatively better. But it's also easy to be tired and just get distracted or have other shit I got to do that just takes away from it. So I'm going to try where the writing is the very first thing I do. And, whether it be an hour, hour and a half, whatever it'll be, and then I can come back to it later. But also during the day, like, the second most important thing that I do will be, trying to get healthy, and I will do that to break up the writing blocks.
Have either of you heard of the Marshmallow Test? Have you guys heard about that?
No.
So, I won't go into a ton of
Something
detail.
fraternities do?
No.
Yes, I've heard about it, but it sounds like a Better Off Undead thing.
It was one of the no. It was one. It's
Is
not
it like a soggy biscuit?
No, it's not like that. Basically they did this experiment. I won't go into a lot of it, and they had I think it was with kids. I may be
delaying gratification.
Well, but yes, but here's the way it works. If the kids were either allowed to eat the marshmallow or told they had to resist it, and everybody
if they wait, they get more or something like that.
I think I may be confusing some of this, but the principle is sound. And then in the experiment I'm thinking of, they had to deny themselves something. Maybe it isn't marshmallow. They had to deny themselves something and then take a test. And the people who did more, that denied it better. I'm going to screw this up. Okay, here's the punchline. I don't remember the details.
They used more will. They used up their willpower, and it
yes.
Yes. Was
the idea was that we have a fixed amount of willpower, and once it's gone, it's gone. And so what I know is if I have a very busy day with a lot of stuff, like I said, I usually eat very well. Those are the days that I fuck up, and that's the reason I've used it up. So what you're talking about is a getting things done principle, like every time management system has like must actions or most important, and you do those first because that's when your reserves are freshest. Because no matter what you want to have willpower about later in the day, you'll be out if you don't have a willpower muscle that's strong.
Yeah, one of the things that's been messing me up a little bit, and again, this is all unboxed stuff, right? Is that it's two things right now. It's unboxed and it's summer, so my kids are out of school, and
welcome to my world.
They're right, right, and it was Ethan's birthday this week, so there are things like that. But I really like to be a little linear. Okay, I do this at this time, I do this at this time, I do this at this time, and I basically do it by priority. So if writing is the hardest thing for me to do, I want to get it done earliest in the day because it's the easiest thing to procrastinate around. But right now I can't do that, so I moved it to blocks. Because, for example, I like to edit earlier than I can, but I can't edit as early as I want to because we're sharing a Scrivener file closely together. So I am waiting for you to finish before I can edit. So that means that instead of doing editing at this time, I have an editing block for X amount of time that I just get to at some point of the day, and then I cross off the blocks as I go along.
I don't feel like we're even going to get to the whole thing because we're an hour and whatever change, but
the irony of us
separate part of this.
The irony of us talking about being organized and getting shit ready, but this show is like the opposite of that. It's just
because that's where we have to. That's what we like. But that makes sense.
It's the end of the week. It's the last thing I do in the week. My willpower is
gone.
We
Okay.
spend our entire week being organized and rigid and machine-like to get all this done, and this show is our safe place.
Well, we do need to wrap up because on Better Off Undead we have Darren Waremouth and Carl Sinclair waiting in the wings, and they're both drinking. So the later we wait, the worse it's going to be.
Oh wow! All right, so I guess we'll talk about outsourcing later. Like we're gonna hire somebody, and we're just figuring that out right now. But I guess we'll talk about that stuff later. Anything to add on that, just real quick?
Yeah.
Sean,
Well, no, just that it's a very exciting time. Right now, I actually have fewer things on my plate than I think I ever have at one time, but they're big things with a lot of moving parts. And the biggest thing, other than a box, is the building of the Sterling and Stone site. And once that gets going, we're really going to have somebody kind of full time to help us be stronger in the areas where we're already strong, but we just need some support. And that's a very, very exciting time for the company. So we're really looking forward to that. And it will only serve to tighten what we're doing and help us be better at what we do and better at articulating it for you guys. Essentially, once we have this person, they will be a core part of our team, and they'll facilitate us giving you more in less time. We'll be able to
because
do.
we'll be doing
better.
our sweet spot stuff rather than downloading the
So
podcast.
we'll be
all this.
right. So we'll be able to do things better. Like for example, we haven't. I mean, Unboxed is probably to blame for that more than anything, but we need to get another repeater Q&A, right? Like we need to do that, and that kind of stuff is just easier because then we'll have somebody who can take those raw materials and get them out, so that there's more reason, there's more incentive for each broadcast that we do, and we're all really looking forward to that. But we'll talk about it another time. It's a
So
big topic.
as part of all of that stuff, we are having the entire podcast transcribed, thanks to our buddies over at Caption Access, captionaccess.com. Let them know that we sent you, and they'll give you a third off. And they're great, and they say puppies, blah, 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 blah. I don't have anything clever to say today about them. But they're still awesome. And so I guess that's it. I guess we'll move on to Better Off Undead, which really nobody should watch. Because you just know it's going to be a travesty. And I will add that you can still join Fiction Unboxed now and forever. That's not like a timed thing. It doesn't, like, who cares that it's going on? You could watch it 3 years from now. fictionunbox.com/unbox. And otherwise, we will see you guys next week. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you then.
Carl said he'll do all the admin for free if you stop talking.